In this video, I'm going to show you how to get ahead in life. I'm going to show you the alarming math and the statistics behind actually getting ahead in life. And most people overlook this and they never ever pay attention. And if you stay to the end, I'm going to give you some resources where you can actually calculate your time and what it's worth and how you can get ahead and actually move the needle forward in your life and growing your business, whatever the facet you want to grow. So let's dive into the math behind this. So let's draw the contrast between these two people. Let's say you have person one and person two. So let's say person one works 8 hours per day, 5 days per week, which is 40 hours worked per week. And let's say roughly 22 working days if we divide that between the entire year, right? That's 173 hours worked per month. And again, 52 weeks in a year. Let's say that they're not taking any time off. They're just working every single week, 5 days a week. And let's just say, assuming that they work 52 weeks in a year, they're going to be working roughly 260 days of the year. And that's about 2,080 hours worked per year. Now, let's contrast that with person number two. Let's say that they work 12 hours a day. Let's say they work just 4 more hours per day. So they maybe wake up and they start work 2 more hours early. So let's say instead of starting at 9, they start at 7, right? Let's say they wake up at 5 a.m. and they start at 7, right? And let's say they work an extra 2 hours in the evening. So instead of stopping at 5, they stop at 7. So that's 12 hours worked, right? From 7 to 7. And then let's say they work, instead of, getting drunk on the weekends and going and driving around and doing some worthless stuff on Saturdays, let's say that they just put in an extra shift. They want to get ahead in life, right? This person wants to get ahead in life. So they work an extra day. They work Saturdays, okay? Well, that would equal 72 hours worked per week. And that would be roughly 26 working days in the month. And they're working basically 312 hours worked in a month. And again, roughly they work 52 weeks. So again, they want to get ahead. So they're working every single week, 6 days a week, the entire year. That means they're going to be working 312 days worked out of the year. And if they do that, then that's going to equate to 3,744 hours worked per year. Okay. Now, if we look at it just on over a 1 month period of time, the second person, so person number two, the one that wants to get ahead in life, is going to be working 140 more hours than person one just in the first month. And if we divide that by in terms of the weeks, of how many weeks they actually are going to get, because we're dividing it by this person's work week, which their work week is 40 hours, right? So they're going to be actually getting 3.5 more weeks greater than the first person. So they're actually getting 3.5 more weeks than the first person just by working Saturdays, okay? And just a little more hours during the week. So just by putting a little bit more hours every single day and by working an extra day, they're getting 3.5 weeks ahead of the first person. And now picture this. The first person isn't somebody else. The first person could be you. It could be you working 40 hours and just putting in 40 hours, clocking out, and that's it, right? So you're going to be actually getting 3.5, almost an entire month in the first month ahead of person one or your old self. So if you think about that, boom, you're already getting a month ahead, okay? Just think about that. Now, let's extrapolate this over an entire year. So if we look at an entire year, we're working 1,664 more hours than person one, right? Person two is working 1,600 more hours than person one, which would equate to about 42 more weeks, right? And if you divide that by their typical 40-hour work week, that's over half a year more than somebody else, okay? That's more than half. So it's over that's roughly about 7 to 8 months, okay? You're getting about 8 months ahead, 8 to 10 months ahead of somebody else, okay? And just in the first year, okay? So you're getting over half a year to close to a damn near a year ahead of somebody else. And again, that could be your old self. So compare person one to maybe what you're working now. And just think about the second person, and this is going to be compounded year over year because you're getting 42 more weeks in person in the first year, and that's equating to their work week because you can see here, they're getting 32 more hours. We're almost working double the amount of hours in a week, okay? And even 72 hours is not a lot of time, okay? If you think about all the worthless time, and we're going to get into that, exactly how to calculate your time and how to calculate what hours and what tasks you're doing per hour, and we're going to dive into exactly the actual numbers behind this and what an hour and what tasks you can do and what activities you can do that are worth thousands of dollars. You want to be doing $5,000, $10,000, $100,000 per hour activities, and this is going to maximize your time, okay? And so think of it, most people are doing worthless things. They're going on Netflix, they're scrolling social media, going on Instagram, Tinder, doing all this other stuff, and they're not actually moving and getting the needle forward, right? They're getting distracted, scrolling on Facebook. Their friends pinging them. They got to go do groceries. They got to do this. They got to do that, and they're just wasting time. Okay. Now let's look at year number 2. So in year 2, you're going to be working 3,328 more hours than person 1, which would equate to 83 more weeks. And again, in terms of the 40-hour work week, which the other person's working, you're getting 1.6 years ahead. So over a year and a half ahead of the first person in the second year. So you're gaining a year and a half on yourself, over everybody else, your competitors, over everybody else, just by working a little bit extra in a day and 1 extra day in a week, okay? And you'd extrapolate that over 5 years, that you're working 8,320 more hours, which would equate to 208 more weeks than the person 1, which would equate to 4 years ahead of person 1, okay, or your old self. And over 10 years, you're going to be getting 8 years ahead. So if someone works 10 years, you're going to be getting that 10 years plus an extra 8. So you're going to be 18 years deep in a 10-year journey. And this is going, again, the number of hours you're working, getting to that 10,000 hour rule is like when you acquire mastery. So putting in the time, putting in the effort, putting in the work is going to achieve mastery, which you're going to be able to get better results. And now this is all cool. Okay, this person 1, I could be basically getting 4 years ahead within the next 5 years, right? So if you put in 5 years, you're going to be getting 4 years ahead of everybody else, of your competitors that aren't willing to put in the work. And you may be thinking like, why do you work so much? Why do you need to work so much? And why do you need to put so many hours? Why do you need to grind? Why do you need to do this? But look at this. If you want to get ahead in life, you have to do what others are not willing to do. And does this mean that you have to do this the rest of your life? But if this means that you put in 5 years of your life and you dedicate it working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week for the next 5 years, but you get 4 years ahead and those 4 years are compounded and you're able to generate more money, more financial freedom, more time freedom than the previous 5 years of your entire life because now you're 4 years ahead, wouldn't that be worth it? Right? What if you're now 8 years ahead and you're compounding? Now you're compounding the money and everything that you're earning just that much more. Okay? How much would that be worth it to you? Now, let's even go even further than this. Okay? I have a process and a kind of activity that I do with my clients called the 80-20 power generator. And I have a whole module on this and how this works. But this is one of the things that we look at in terms of calculating your time. Now, I'm going to walk you through this. I'm just going to zoom in here. You can see here, it starts from $100 per hour activities, $0 per hour activities, $10 per hour activities, $100, $1,000, $10,000, and $100,000 per hour activities. And these are kind of the examples of what would be inside of this, right? And then you go into, this is an exercise I get my clients to do, and I'm going to share this with you at the end of this video, so stick around. I'm going to show you how you can get this. But here, you're going to list the activity, list the amount of hours you spend there, and you're going to calculate your time over an entire week, okay? And where does your time go? Okay, and then you're going to put here the number of hours, so what the activity is, the number of hours, and it's going to auto-calculate and give you a dollar figure on how much that is actually worth, right? Your time within the actual activities that you're going into, okay? Now, if you look here at the end, it's going to give you the total yield. So what is the total yield in terms of the total hours worked and the total number of actual money that you're generating and what that is worth to you, okay? So if the higher that number is, you're doing more higher value tasks and they're worth more. And the activities you're doing are high value activities, okay? Now, let's go down into give you some examples in terms of this. So let's say in terms of this, 8-hour work week or a work day, you're spending 3 of those hours checking Facebook and Instagram, just go and look at your screen time right now. Well, that's $0 per hour activity. Okay. So with this here, with doing these different higher value activities in these $10,000, $100,000 per hour activities, you're going to actually amplify the results. So now it's going to be compounded at an exponential rate, okay? Because each hour that you work, all hours are not created equal. Somebody can be getting a massive output within that time period. So it says 4 years ahead or 8 years ahead or 1.6 years ahead, but that if you compound that by mastering this process and implementing and doing more $10,000, $100,000 per hour activities, you're going to be compounding and you're going to be getting the compounded rate at a much faster rate. And this is how you're going to get ahead in life and literally make so much more money in a shorter amount of time, and then compounded over time, it's just going to exponentially grow. And so I hope you're seeing the power of this already. But again, let's say you're checking Facebook and Instagram and some YouTube. You're spending 3 hours a day. I mean, a lot of people's screen time are like 5 hours a day, okay? 6 hours, 8 hours a day. Okay, so if you're doing these like $0 per activities, or again, you're eating fast food, you're hanging out with negative people, you're smoking weed, drinking alcohol, you're avoiding problems that need fixing, you're not doing things in your business that need to be fixed now, and you're avoiding them, then that's actually costing you money, okay? And so you can just put that in here, write the activity. Again, track this for the entire week. Put in the number of hours. Maybe you spend, again, 4 hours per day on this process over a week. Let's say you spend 12 hours in a week in these activities, right? Then you're losing money, right? And if you spend, again, another 12 hours scrolling on Instagram, boom, you're not making any money in there, right? So you can put the activity down, so whatever the activity is, like running errands, buying groceries, anything like that, and put the number of hours you're spending on that activity each week. What you can do is just have like a notepad or some sort of note-taking thing on your phone, and every single day track that. At the end of the week, add all those up and put the number of hours and what the activity is, and you can put them into this process here, okay? Some additional examples, again, like I said, is like buying groceries or trips to the store. Those are $10 per hour activities. You don't need to be doing those. You should be hiring, especially if you're a business owner, you should be hiring someone to clean your house, doing all the dishes, cooking. We get meal prep straight to my door, right? These are the types of things you should be doing to save you time, so you can put that more into higher value tasks like the $1,000, $10,000, $100,000 activities, okay? It's like replying to email, social message. So if you're on social messaging, maybe you're prospecting someone, that's like a $10,000 hour activity, right? Answering your phone, text, editing your website, just like doing all these like lower value tasks. Now, $100 per hour activities, solving problems for clients, talking to a qualified prospect, right, to book them into a call, managing PPC campaigns. These maybe be $1,000 per hour activities, but depending on what you're doing. Outsourcing simple tasks, building out SOPs and documents, posting content. So you could be producing content on social, reading books, taking courses, learning. Those are really high value tasks. They could even be in the $1,000 per hour activities, okay? Examples of $1,000 per hour activities: planning and organizing your day or week. So being clear, having clarity on what you're doing, negotiating with a hot prospect. So basically about to close this person, right? Those are $1,000 per hour activities. Building sales funnels, so building pages and funnels. Delegating complex tasks, writing ad copy and sales copy, creating PPC campaigns, creating and judging split test experiments, testing different systems, building systems, exercise, sleep, relaxation, meditation, hanging out with smart people, right? Those are $1,000 per hour activities. So again, you can go and calculate your time and put the activity in here and how much time you're spending on it, and it's going to calculate it up. Like let's say you spend 20 minutes a day meditating over 5 days. That's roughly, let's say like 2 hours you spend meditating a week. So you could do like meditation, right? That's 2 hours. Let's say you spend another, creating SOPs or documents for your clients or for your team. And let's say you spend an extra like 8 hours doing that. And you can see here that those are $10,000 yielded, right? And so you can go fill that out and just put in the activities that you're doing. And then examples of some $10,000 per hour activities is creating and innovating your product. So making your product or service better, creating and improving your offers. Those are really high value tasks. Improving your value proposition, writing video sales letters, creating actual pre-selling mechanisms, what I call them, to actually sell and get more people to come into your world and get pre-sold on what you have to offer, okay? Because that's a one-to-many activity. It's going to impact tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people, and you're going to be able to scale your time. Hiring and firing team members, establishing core values and culture, selling to qualified groups, doing webinars. Like those are really high value activities. Public speaking to crowds, doing events, cutting costs and wasteful resources. If you're spending thousands of dollars every single year on like software, cutting those costs, having that honest self-analysis and self-reflection, fixing repeating problems and errors, negotiating deals, right? Those are $10,000 activities, right? $100,000 per activity is capital allocation decisions. Should you put your money here in this bucket, right? Into more advertising, into more spending? Where is that money going? Is it going to, allocating into investments, right? And salary and incentive decisions for your sales team, for your team, restructuring decisions, establishing long-term partnerships and JVs. Those are really, really high-value tasks. Setting long-term strategy, direction, and goals. Architecting systems and machine. And then innovating on the service. So these are really, really high-value tasks because they're asymmetrical. They can grow and they can compound over time. So now if you pair this with, again, the person that's working 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, and they're doing low-value tasks that are very, very, like maybe even detracting them and negative, and they're just staying still and they're going nowhere. Contrast that to someone that's working literally 72 hours a week, 3,744 hours a year, and they're doing $10,000 per hour activities. Think about that. If they're only putting your time in there, if we do some simple math on that, let's just say 3,744 times, let's say 10,000. That's $37 million. Obviously, all your time is not going to be spent doing those tasks, but you can see the value of your time, and it's not going to materialize. Obviously, you're not going to make this money right now, but it's going to compound into the future, meaning years ahead, the compounding years into the future, right, that you're getting ahead are going to compound on themselves. And that's how, like someone like me, who has been working 6 days a week, 12 hours a day for the past 5 years, 6 years, I'm now compounding my growth, and now I'm getting years and years ahead of people, and now my product, my service, my innovation, the things that we're doing now, I know that's going to take me to 50, 100 million, potentially even $1 billion over the next 5, 10 years, maybe 20 years, and because I'm compounding my growth, okay? And especially if you're counteracting that and putting yourself in and doing these high-value activities, high-value per hour high-value tasks that you're doing, you're going to compound it over time. And so this is how you get ahead in life. It's essentially making a decision between how much you're willing to work and wanting to work to get ahead and how much you're willing to just sacrifice to get ahead. Because again, these are going to compound over time. Do you have to do this forever? Do you have to do this for the entire life? No, but if you do this for the next 5 years, you're going to get 4 years ahead, compounded with doing $10,000, $100,000 activities. You're going to be making millions and millions of dollars and building and growing your business, especially obviously if you do it in the right way. So this is how you get ahead in life, and most people never look at their time in this way. And so when you start to look at your time in terms of like this, in terms of, okay, well, damn, like I'm slacking because I'm only doing this amount of work, and somebody else that's in my market that is competing against me is putting in this amount of work, and they're not working and they're not doing any bullshit tasks like, doing groceries, running errands during the day, posting on social, like responding to people on social media. They're not even posting on social media. They have people do that for them like I do. Like they're really working on $1,000 activities and $10,000 activities. And where I've gotten into is now majority is my time spent in $10,000 activities. I'm writing VSLs. I'm hiring team members. I'm working with a team, getting them to produce better. I'm leading my team. Those are really high value tasks, right? Or I'm managing PPC campaigns, I'm meditating, I'm exercising, I'm doing all these things. These are the only things that I'm doing is in the $1,000 to $100,000 per hour activities. And most people are still in this lower bracket. And again, they may be even in the negative. And this is exactly how you get ahead in life, okay? It's about putting in more hours and more quality hours that are worth more, okay? That's the bottom line. That's the equation. Put in more hours at a higher quality output, and you're going to get ahead, and it's going to compound over time. So if you want to get access to the sheet, I'm going to link it in the resources in the description so you can use this, do the activity over the week, and see what your time is worth, and then also calculate how much time are you actually working and how much time is that actually high quality work hours. If you just focus on those two things, putting in more hours and more quality hours, you're going to compound your results, and you're going to compound getting ahead of everybody else and getting ahead of your old self if you're not putting in the amount of hours or doing the quality of hours and getting the high value tasks and the $10,000, $100,000 an hour activities. So I'm going to leave this sheet in the description so you can go click it, use it every single week, calculate your time, what you're spending on each task every single week. And then what you're going to do is you're going to see, okay, how many hours are you working per week? Calculate that. and then also how many days are you working per week, and then calculate the hours in which your output is. And just by doing this is going to help you get ahead in life, okay? Most people never track their time. They don't even know what quality of the work that they are doing and what that's even worth to them, okay? They're doing real menial tasks and they're not delegating and letting these things go or automating them or completely eliminating them out of their life, okay? So I'm gonna leave that in the description. You can go check it out, use it, and this will profoundly change your life. So hopefully you found massive value in this video. So what I want you to do is hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. And if you want to learn more about what it is that I do and how I help my clients become more productive with tools like this and tracking these things and become aware of them, and then also how they can scale their businesses to 7 figures in 6 months or less, then again, I'm going to drop some links in the description there. You can go check it out. But I hope you found massive value. Comment below what your hours are that you work, and if you want to share the quality output in a week's time, come back and I'd love to see your results and what you can do. So hopefully you found massive value in the video, and I'll see you in the next one.